with agents' presentation, does it really matter? Is it going to make you money or lose you money? Stay tuned.
Good morning.
Oh, that was hard to get that bunting off.
I thought that was a Novak scarf. Is it? So we've got new Novak bunting, do we?
We've got Novak bunting.
Novak bunting.
Novak bunting.
And you'll see that here, there, and everywhere.
It's going. We're painting the town in black and white.
Black and white. It's the new Northern Beaches colours. This is going to be a really funny episode. So normally we have a bit of a chat off air about what we're going to sort of talk about, but this morning we said no, save it all for on air live.
Yeah, we had some good ones. The latest one I said was, if unfortunately sometimes if you can't unsee stuff, and if you have an agent that looks particular in that doesn't agree with you, you can never unsee that.
It's funny though, because you've obviously run a business for a long, long time now, had a lot of people, in and out with all different ideas of corporate attire. And you've said this morning that it's sometimes you're like, what on earth is that?
And you know what? I think it's everyone's different. And so consumers are picking their property manager, consumers are picking their sales agent. People are buying the property. They're buying the property, but the agent's there presenting the property. And it's really fickle to say, the agent's got to wear a tie and they're going to make you more money. But you can't help but to think that if it's a well-dressed agent, it's a well-dressed mind. If it's a messy agent, it's a messy mind.
Yeah. And we were saying how important first impressions are. The first impression's the one that lasts. And this morning we are consulting the public on, I guess, preferences, you could say.
I'd love everyone's opinion on this, guys. Light it up, because I'd love to know that. How do you want, what is, in your mind, what does your gun agent look like? How are they presenting?
I think first of all, it's definitely important to to look on point, look sharp. There's days in the office where you come in and you can actually feel yourself, that you're not dressed to impress the best way you could be, and you just feel a bit off. I feel like you feel a bit off for that day, and then you come in maybe the day after and you feel a bit better, right? So it definitely, I think, has an impact on your mood, the way you carry yourself. But for me, I think a well-dressed agent, is got the polished shoes, has got the tie on, and then, is just dressed nicely.
I'm going to give you an example. You're going in for brain surgery. You're going in to see a doctor. You walk in. He's in board shorts and a blue singlet, a blue trucker singlet. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, you'd be pretty nervous. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, and again, I'm not associating us with doctorates. We're not that educated. We don't have that faculty. But at the end of the day, I reckon, and I'd love to know what people think. It is important. But has it changed? Has the tie, Billy? Is it super acceptable for the tie to go in this day and age, particularly after COVID? Is it? Are we in board shorts? Are we in chinos? Are we in suits? What do people want?
Well, here's funny. So we need, we'd love to hear some comments on this. But a big one for me is the tie versus no tie. I feel like the no tie is not the worst of the offences, right? If we're calling it like a speeding fine, you're definitely under 10 kilometres. So you're still carrying your licence. It's not the worst. But something like, and I've seen a few horror photos lately because, the UK and Europe's been in a bit of a heat wave. There's been a few photos of people wearing a suit jacket with shorts, like suit shorts.
Yep. No socks.
And I'm surprised we don't see more of that here because it's obviously hot in the summer. For me, that's an absolute no-no. No
Yeah,
socks.
but you're an old man.
So yeah, let's put it to the public. No socks versus socks is an interesting one. White trainers with a suit, white like sneakers.
Yep. Stephen Jobs was ahead of his time and in a bit of a revolution at the time when the whole computing industry was wearing suits and ties. He came along and wore jeans and a black shirt consistently, long sleeve black shirt from memory. But yeah, very, very successful man, very healthy mind, did very well. So it makes you wonder, what does it look like? What does the ultimate agent look like? And also, I think we've talked about dress. I think hairstyles can come into that. I think piercings can come into that. Beards. I never had it. It's changed. I was completely dead against beards or goatees. Changed.
It's lucky I don't get the choice on that one. It's
bad for you, eh?
But people have got opinions. And
the other day you were swimming and you had all that white. It was like almost like a fluorescent sort of white, no hair.
Yeah, it's so people don't miss me.
Yeah.
But people have got opinions on this, and as an agent, I would personally hate to lose a listing over, not even getting through the door properly, but just because they've, judged you on how you look. So you want to make sure, in my opinion, you're dressed to impress.
Yeah, if you can, I think when we're pitching for business, and we always are, we're salespeople. I think when you're pitching for business, they say 80% of someone's personality decision on you is decided within the first 15 seconds. So, look, I can't help but to say that how you present, whatever you present within that first 15 seconds, it's going to be absolutely critical to their decision making on agent selection and whether they like you, or property selection. So, that's there. Your handshake's there. Your eye contact's there. Your smell. You can't. There's often stuff you can't undo. You can't unsee. Smell is one of those things that you got a stinky agent, never going to be able to forget that. If you've got an agent that looks like a muppet, you can't unsee that.
And it's really hard to put a dollar figure on this, whether it's going to make or break your sale price, but it definitely, I think, has a kind of a subtle impact. I think it's got to. Smoking on the clothes.
You can't undo it. You know what I mean? You just, and literally when Luke said that, he actually thought of a person that is smelly, smoky person. Do you want to be that person? So I think look, it's very hard. I try to keep the weight off, and I find that hard. To do, but I know I'm sort of better for it in a lot of ways. Not only in business, the better that you don't get tired. But overall health and stuff. It's really interesting. Michelle's got a big one. What has she got to say? Because in the country, it's different again.
Yeah, in the country, we're a little more relaxed. Always well presented, suits and ties. Always come out on our auction days. My plan is Lucky North Sydney, Bears Tyre. But yeah, it's the other thing we've got is I think the females feel hard done by, and I've got to feel a bit sorry for them. They've got to get a whole new attire, a whole new wardrobe for almost the office.
Yeah, and look, Sienna is new girl in the office, and she was on live the other day and talking about the cost of a new wardrobe getting into real estate, and it is expensive. Um, Obviously, our office is it's more of a policy to be corporate. Um, but you know what I reckon is the real cracker, like you said, guys get off a little bit easier with suits, but a uniform is a great idea for someone starting in the business, in any business. I think if you can have that agreement with yourself, um, that you're going to stick to one look, that can save you a fortune of mind space and a fortune of money. Um, like, for instance, uh, what's the Apple guy's name again?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs stuck to one look because he said he used those extra minutes every day to do something that mattered in his life. So rather than running around and mixing and matching ties and suits and colours and shoes, he had his one look, which was his uniform,
Yeah.
and then he dedicated the rest to better things. So I do that a little bit. I've got a round of navy suits, white shirts, and I've got a round of black suits, white shirts, and I just rotate between navy and black every day. But it's almost like a uniform for me, just changing your ties.
Yeah, and easy to do that on a blank canvas of a white shirt. Now I've
Yeah,
got one more question for you. Does it
yes,
matter does good looks make you more money in real estate?
yes.
That's also hard to put a dollar figure on it. But have you seen have you witnessed this firsthand?
Oh, look, I think the better you can package anything up, the better it goes. And I think everyone has the ability to look better if they work on it. So I think everyone's, probably sounds a bit cliche, but I think everyone's beautiful, no matter what your look is. But
Yeah,
when you put effort into that, um, I think you get results from that. I think internally and externally. So I think you feel better. When it's
yeah,
like getting up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, I think when you get on the wrong side of the bed, you're like shit, 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 or getting to work late consistently, like shit, 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 every traffic light. Whereas if you're well prepared, if you're putting effort into to maximising presentation, I think it works. I think it works. Look at the packaging of a box of an Apple product. The better your package, the more impressive it is.
it's true. The feel one is a big one though, because it does carries you throughout the day.
Yeah, I was really careful what I just said.
I think that was a really good answer.
I was like, ooh, careful there, careful
That was
there.
it was a good answer. It's a good answer. I think that's almost the show, though, isn't it? Moral of the
That's it.
story: it
Yep.
definitely has an impact. Hard to put a dollar figure on it, but first impressions count.
So, Billy, my agent can't dress, but can they sell?
I think they can. They can still do their job, but the buyers will have an opinion, and yeah. Look, put it this way: there's a whole famous Instagram page called Lords of Property that is now sort of blown up on the back of poorly dressed agents and agents, doing some funny things. If you want to have a look at how bad it can get, go on Instagram or Facebook and have a look on there. And yeah, that'll give you an idea of what it could turn into.
Lords of Property.
Lords of Property,
And
the best page ever.
it's awesome. And my summary of my agent can't dress, but can they sell is, if you're playing the odds, um, they can probably sell, bad dressed or well dressed. But if you're playing a odds game and you're having to choose it off the presentation, I think your odds will be better if that they will present your property better if they present themselves better.
Yeah. And look, when it comes to selling property, you kind of want everything in your corner. So I wouldn't, leave anything out, anything on the table.
Big time.
That's it.
That's a show. Thanks, Billy Bob, the old man, the young man's body.
Thanks, Mark.
See ya.